let me get this click on the live feed. Can everybody hear me okay? Just making sure. Okay, great. We're going to get started early on with some writing just to kick us off here for this session. It can't be said enough that in order to give well, you have to have a well to give from, and we don't often do as much for ourselves as writers as we need to keep that well fluid and flowing. So I'm just going to kick you off with some exercises. Jamie, can I share screen? Have I got permission to share screen?
I will give you permission as co-host.
Okay, great. Okay, I think event sharing. I'm trying to see if I can get this kicked off. Can you see my desktop now at this point? Can you guys see my desktop? Okay. Let me X out some of these other things. So there is a new book out, and one of the things I talk with often whenever I'm working with suicide prevention, particularly with youth, but adult communities as well, especially domestic violence and trafficked women, is longevity. And this new volume is out from the great poet, Quincy Troupe, emeritus professor from UC San Diego, lives in Harlem with his wife, an art curator, also writer and photographer, Margaret Porter Troupe. They run Harlem Art Salon there. And this compendium work, this collective work is Duende, and it's his published poems from 1966 to now. So at the time of publication, we've got over 50 years worth of work here. I'm one of the original Watts poets in LA, and just a substantial career. And so in looking at this collection and having interviewed Quincy many times over the year and running programs with him and Margaret, involving his work and other people sometimes performing at Harlem Art Salon, exceptionally familiar with his work. There's some great write-ups about it if you're interested in sort of clicking onto some of the pages, which I'll try to slip in chat. Hopefully they don't all start up and play. That one's trying to, so I'll edge it out for now. But there is a compilation in here, which this article, which I'll also try to slip in chat for you, came about mid this century, around 2009-10. He started writing these 7-Elevens for St. Louis and published a book, Arancides, in 2012. And the 7-Eleven form started out as a nonce form for Quincy. We're going to be looking at nonce form for this particular exercise. And nonce, as many of you will know who are poets, is a first attempt at creating form that, as far as you know, hasn't been done before. It's particular to you. It might be for a special occasion. It could also be for a special purpose or intent. And in this case, the nonce form continues and becomes an absolute form or a true form, the St. Louis poem. And Quincy refers to it as 7-Elevens. And the story here in the article, in which I've heard Quincy tell many times, live and in person, but also on Zooms, came together because as a kid in St. Louis, he was born in 1939, and in St. Louis as a kid, going to school down the alleyways or coming home from school down the alleyways, the old men would be in the alley shooting craps. And so there was tons of opportunities for kids to overhear the conversation and how important the numbers 7-11 were in this game, and how that memory for him really represents home and being in St. Louis as a kid coming up and witnessing community at play, the games of community at play. So I have a little excerpt here from Duende to make it easy for you. This part is available on Google Books. So if you Google for 7-Elevens with that slash inside and Quincy Troupe, hopefully it'll pull up for you this page, Google Books, which takes you to a selection. So here's some examples of the form that Quincy put together to represent Homescape for him or St. Louis poems for him. And in this particular selection, the first line is 7 syllables, the second is 11. This throughout the form of the poem, and you might notice it's also 7 down the side. And he switches this up as he plays with it. So sometimes it's 11 first and then 7s. Sometimes it'll be 11 down. So he plays with the number 711 in his 711 form. And so those numbers are sort of sacred numbers to Quincy. They represent childhood to him. They represent elders in the community to him. They represent fortune, fate, luck of the draw or luck of the roll. And so it represents this almost cosmogony of neighborhood for Quincy, if you look at it in that scope of things. And it's done in sort of simple form. There's 7, there's 11s. We can play with syllable and line count. But that numerical sketch homes him and homes the poems that represent what's happening. And you might find in this particular selection of poems that it's actually about the guys shooting craps, playing dice in the alley. So the game is playing out during these poems, which is pretty cool. So words are dice thrown across floors, gambling tables where language circumvents. Who won or lost comes down to bets, lost in chips when snake eye dooms your first throw. Though turn to 7-11 after bones stop rolling, you dance as though great music, love, entered your soul. So there's some real beauty that's happening in here. And through these poems, the games go on and build in the neighborhood, in the alleyways, and talks about, things that happen that may be challenges in the neighborhood, things that might happen traumatically in the neighborhood, things that might play out. And then names of people playing come up through as well, and little tributes start to happen in the scope of the poems. And on so oftentimes with the knots, when you enter into it, you're looking for a prosody, you're looking for a form that you can use, a cadence or rhythm that you can build with syllables or line count to give yourself a scope or a feeling that you'll follow through the particular form that you're creating. And like it or not, all sort of classic forms are built with this kind of numeration in lines in the column that's set up to create the poem, sometimes also in stanza count. So we can look at that as sort of composition and musical composition as well, and what's happening in this particular movement within the section. And we can switch up numbers if it becomes a very long piece and we want to play more, and maybe create a bridge that goes an opposite way, or syncopate so the beats fall backwards, not what's expected. Instead of heavy beat falling where we think it might, we switch it up and use a lighter toe and hammer it where we don't expect the hammer to come. So some ideas there. Also, ideas for knots might be a place. It might be something of a feeling of a place. It might be home. It might be something that's unusual and strange to you. One of the most interesting things about moving into strange places is our memory suddenly is accessible to us in ways we didn't anticipate, because our brain is dancing around trying to home us all the time. So it'll find relevance in something. So suddenly, through simile or metaphor in a poem, we may be visiting other spaces in time when we're in a strange location, so that we can find ourselves there. The color green that I'm looking out the window here on the bamboo may reflect other things of home for me in places I grew up. We also had bamboo in North Carolina in the mountains, which is kind of interesting, but it was a different type of cane, so the colors are slightly different. So something might reflect for me in that, or it might reflect at my home in Riverside, California, where I do have bamboo and palm as well. Some of the parks nearby have the same type of things. So your mind's sort of always bouncing off of these border images that we possess in our mindscape, and what makes us who we are in the world, our sort of etic self, what holds us. And we're working with people and communities who are challenged all the time, so our challenges are also relevant. Things we know become anecdotal placements, become ways to reflect. I sort of have a feeling where you're coming from. I went through this at one time, and we're narrativizing culture, human beings, and in order to build dignity, we'll often share a bit of perspective from something we gained from a similar experience, and or a way that we transcended something which might work for someone. And so we offer it as a bit of suggestion. This might work for you, but not to downplay that experience that they're having in this time and place is absolutely incredible and something to be held on to behold, to witness along with the person who's doing the telling. So not to one-up, but to show some platform of understanding, some platform of I'm hearing you, I'm listening to you. It reminds me of a time, and here's what I did. Maybe it'll be useful. I don't know. Always give the sense of within a development of a nonce form, always give a sense of something that can be held on to, that reflects time and place that you want the form to witness, to tribute, to act as a reflection of. And nonce forms, while you're creating them, it's totally up to you. It's your design, it's your orchestration, it's your cadence, your rhythm, your musicality. It's representing what you want to move to today. And that form can become something greater and something you develop into a true form that stands as sort of a signature form for you, as Mr. Troupe has done many times over. This is one of my favorites. I used to work in St. Louis as well. Often times would reflect on this while there once it was created, and remember times that I was there before as visiting artists oftentimes, and realizing how much deeper a reflection somebody who was born in 1939 might have in the communities I'm visiting and may offer to me in a way of speaking to community or that understanding of community. So in developing your nonce form for today's exercise, I'd like you to pick a couple of numbers that you feel some significance toward, that you feel are important to you or to an idea that you might play with, and use those to create the scope of the poem, whether it's line syllables, or the column down of what's going to happen in a particular stanza, or both. So develop a form that you can sort of play with, and then for the sake of the exercise, and we're going to give this about maybe 20 minutes of writing time. So this is your time to experiment, to just be with yourself, to allow yourself to deal with what you need to today, and to sort of get to a place where you feel like you're creating and getting some writing done for in and of yourself for the session that we're doing. And during that conceptual sort of moving into creating your nonce form today, maybe think about something that you want to speak to purposefully, intentionally, be it a place, a politic, a spiritual realm, a soulful feeling, something about community that you want to speak to, something about yourself that you have not had time to get to, personal feelings about work and or giving that might be unspoken at this moment, could all be part of this. So it's up to you what you use for content. The purpose, the intent is totally up to you. The numbers are up to you. And hopefully you'll have something in this time to share with us about that process of putting together the nonce. A really great exercise for you to share with your students and or clients, participants as well, is creating the nonce that represents you in this time and place, and or in memory or tribute experience, and or in dreaming the future, futuring through a particular piece. So I'm going to give you guys about 20 minutes. And I will work to fulfill in the chat some links in the meantime, and check back with you at 40 after the hour. If you have any questions for me, feel free to put them in the DM in the chat, and I will respond. If you think it's an important question you want other people to hear, go ahead and put that in the chat as well. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off my mic and let you get some writing done toward a nonce piece today. Give yourself some time for dignity, give yourself some time to write. I'm popping back in. You guys can finish up in your time here, and I'll give you another minute just to find a good stopping place. I will not be offended if you keep writing while I'm talking either, because you need your time to write, and oftentimes we don't get it. Okay, please feel free to approach this in your own way of approaching the rest of this part of the session. Again, if you continue to write, not offend me in the least. I'm going to offer up some other ideas and another writing exercise shortly, but I'm going to go ahead and begin. Yeah, thank you for being here. Thank you for all the work you do in the world. All love to all of you. It's so important, as you know, this outreach that you do, your life work in involving others in this shared understanding of how we narrate our world, how we bring music to our world, how we transcend challenges and conflicts in our world, how we survive what we are faced with, how we get through every day, every night, if we do, with an at-stake value in life and understanding what's there for us, and for allowing ourselves to appreciate the beauty in the world, the greatness around us, as well as understand the depths of trauma that are within our reach and within our grasp and understanding of what it means to be human in the world, or what it means to exist as a life form on this planet. We're faced with so many things. I'm so blessed, so full of gratitude for my time here on Oahu, under the grace of friends who have asked me to house sit for them and to enjoy this place and time in my life. It feels really great to me. I get a lot of work done when I'm here. I also have a lot of good friends and community when I'm visiting here, which is really important to me, and feel that we should take that time in life to have that ability to do things for ourselves. So this is also a little gift to myself in accepting this opportunity to house it at this time and place. I came here from, I was back in California for a day to pick up a couple of grandkids from Lisbon, where I was with the Disquiet program, a literary arts program that deals with Portuguese literature, but also with Luso-Americans, no matter the diaspora, from usually the Azores Islands, where I have ancestry from as well, Enos family from the Azores. And so some of us are Luso and come to Portugal to understand that link in our ancestry and our heritage and the literary connections there through writers throughout history in Portugal, but also in a contemporary space. And the best thing for me about being there, as well as being with some really great people, having great food, seeing some really beautiful land and water, is the ability to be out of the construct of Americana for a couple of weeks, and knowing that people that I meet on the street or in cafes are not up on our news, and it's not resonant to them in this sort of bombastic dilemma of trauma that we're enduring with the almost diabolical attempts to erode and destroy the planet and any sense of community and or gathering of peoples in a place that's multicultural, that is a landscape that involves a lot of native peoples throughout the Americas who have been colonized for many years and are enduring the colonization, surviving and thriving in the colonization, and all of the peoples who have come from other hemispheres and or displacements from within the Occidental hemisphere as well. There's a lot going on politically, socially, economically, and we have a plague. We have COVID, we have the pandemic, we have polio just returned, monkeypox. There's things going on. Not to mention climate change. Although not to mention climate change is like not being awake in the world even for a day or a moment, because it is happening, it's been happening. It's a result of industrialization that's been going on for hundreds of years and affecting us on a very deep level. My home in Riverside right now is covered with ash. My son's sending me pictures daily from local fires. We know this is going to be going on and affecting communities that we work with as well. So in the midst of all of this, how do we find a moment for ourselves? So I'm going to give us just a very brief opportunity to do that. Hopefully you'll come along with me on this little journey. So I'd like you to close your eyes, if you will, and just follow my directions for the next couple of minutes. I'm going to blind my camera just to allow you to have your own safe space to do this, and just walk you through a little bit of a short little meditation before we do the next part of this session. So if you will, please take a deep breath with me and let that breath subside. Exhale. And just take a moment to be with yourself. Take in another deep breath. And with that breath, I'd like you to think about opportunity to find your own dignity for the moment. Go ahead and keep breathing. Maybe start a regular sort of deep breath, deep exhalation at your own pace for this part. Now let's take a position where you're in a comfortable place for you, no matter if you're in a chair, on the floor, standing, whatever position you're in. If you can and have the ability to allow your feet to go flat, if you're able to do that, or allow them to relax. If you're unable to flatten your feet, allow them to relax as much as you can. Lower limbs as well. Breathing in and out on a deep and sort of thoughtful measure. Allow yourself to relax up your body into your torso, pelvic area. Just let your body sort of slump, go loose a bit as you pull it up through your chest. Just relax, just sit back, relax. Take a deep breath, let your shoulders drop. Maybe think of your shoulder blades dropping into your back pockets to let them ease down a bit. And let that looseness go out through your arms. If you're able to relax your body, if you're able to do that, vicariously or physically, relax all the way down into your palms. Maybe turn them upside down so they're resting on your legs and hands up, if it's comfortable for you. Breathing in and out. Can relax your throat, lower quadrant of your face, that jaw especially. Just let it go slack and loose. Go ahead and let your cheeks follow. That nose ever present with your breathing. You can also use your mouth if you choose. Deep, deep breaths and long exhalations. All the way up your face from your eyes. Let your eyes go slack. Let those lids go heavy, as they say in hypnotics. And let them just sort of unfold on your face. Kind of putty face, if you will. Top crown of your head maybe feels a little bit vibrant, and the rest of you just slack. And just relax there for a minute. And then if you will, and follow me on this little bit of a journey, Well, everything is sort of loose and relaxed in this way. If you can imagine from the soles of your feet going down, some kind of great root system below you that goes down through the floor of whatever building you're in. If you're outside, even better. Goes down through the pipes, whatever's below you, crawl space, basement, other floors if you're in an apartment or office. All the way down into the ground and stones, plant matter that's down there, mucky earth. Down deep, 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 deep down, 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 spreading out until you find that place where there's groundwater down below. Maybe imagine one of your toes as a taproot if you can do that, or your whole foot if you need to, lower limb if you need to. Imagine it a taproot pulling water up. And as you pull that water up, I want you to tighten your ankles just above the soles of your feet, just above your feet. Tighten your ankles up, tighten your legs up, let your feet stay a little slack, and keep tightening up into your pelvic area. Keep your breathing going as much as you can while you tighten up your body, and let it just go up your body and just tighten slightly up your body. Maybe give your hands a little fist. Keep tightening while breathing, but leaving your foot loose, so your feet loose, so that you have that top water available. And tighten all the way up in through your arms, and maybe give those little fists an extra tug, little hand grip up through your neck and face. Tighten a little, maybe pucker your mouth up, maybe pucker up your face a little bit. Give little clicks, whatever sound you want to do to really feel it. And then just sort of let loose again from the face down. Letting it all go loose. Keep your eyes closed. Little place on top of your head. Open up. Let your body go slack, but keep pressing with your feet. Keep pressing with your feet as you're leaving your body all the way down to your feet. Let them fall on the floor again, if you can, if you're able. And remember that water below. And then if you will, in your mind's eye, just sort of suck some of that water up through that root system. Imagine that water trailing up through that root system. Imagine it going up through us, up through the body, a little bit of water coming up. Imagine that water sort of giving you a bit of chill feeling. You can feel the water sort of fill you, nourish you, fill you now, all the way up the body. Imagine it going up through your chest, even down through your arms, and up your throat to your mouth. And then if we will, just imagine cold, clean water in your mouth. Just imagine that, keeping your face loose, breathing. Just imagine cold, clean water in your mouth. Just hold on to that thought there. What's that like for you? That cold, clean water, just a mouthful of it. Maybe think of swimming sometime. Maybe think of being in some really refreshing water. Maybe in a place that you know and love that you used to swim in, if you ever swam. Rainstorm for some people. Some people really like walking through rain. Some place that you're affiliated with water. Even in your kitchen where you drink from a tap, special glass you might have. Just imagine that water all around you, all in you, and fulfilling your mouth right now, just really satisfying you. And then sort of keep your feet tight suddenly instead of loose on the floor. Just let only your soles of your feet go flat on the floor and tight at the same time, so it's almost like you're gripping the floor in some way, so you have a solid connection below you. And then while you're in that space, imagine a solid connection above you and out your fingertips, almost like a Spidey-Man kind of thing. So if you threw your fingers right now, webs might come out them. If you thought about it long enough and you had a really great thought, it might emanate from the crown of your head, and what might come out of your face may illuminate a room at this point, may give rainfall to a room, may nourish, may quench a thirst, just from you sharing that bit of connectivity. And while thinking about that for just another second here, just relax back into that slump position in your chair, sort of holding on to that cold, clean water feel. Breathe in and breathe out, and breathe in and breathe out again. And as you sort of come back into space, if you allowed yourself to go somewhere else and rejoin, keep your mind's eye on that water somehow, so that you have it at access anytime you need. Sometimes we get worn out. We don't have any saliva in our mouths anymore. We can't speak. We're all dry, and it's really easy to sort of access this nourishment if we just let ourselves loose to what's around us. And not confusing ourselves for plants, but imagining that we extend further than we do. Root's just one image you could use. If something else works for you, feel free to go for that. Sometimes just allowing ourselves to be present in a room during some kind of challenge with somebody. It could be an individual, it could be a group. That connectivity that we have to all that's around us can stabilize us, so that we're de-escalating just by being really present, by drawing in from our surroundings, from what exists before us, what will be here after us, the earth as it is, the air around us, water, hopefully, that sense of continuity. And then when we're speaking from a place that we've already been to, even for a moment, in a short exercise in our mind, allowing ourselves to go there and be really present with more than just ourselves, allows us to speak on a different level with people, and to really think about continuity and what's beyond us, what exists beyond us, and how little we are in that. Oftentimes in working with trafficked people who are terminally ill, suicidal youth, people who have been traumatized, abused, etc. We're dealing with these things, and the sense of giving someone that essence of continuity becomes everything. That essence of continuity. There's more than this moment in life. There's more than this temporal known, this trauma, this confusion, this particular schism that we're in, this challenge that we're in that seems like everything. There's more to it. And getting through it allows us to find that more to it, and our purpose beyond that, our functions beyond that, and what our joys and understandings might be if we get through this moment. It also really helps us to de-escalate people around us who are having some trouble getting through that moment, going on a deeper level, and having that sense of been there, understand this, it's been going on way before we came into it. This is a very long story we're in, humanity, and a very long story, even longer life on this planet. And there's been challenges all along. There's going to be challenges ahead, but everything changes in like a 4 or 5 year period. And getting through this time can offer us up 4 or 5 years from now an incredible life that we didn't know we could even participate in if we get through this challenge at this time. And thinking of that, I've sort of moved to look at an exercise which is often really helpful for gathering community together, the Exquisite Corpse. Some of you may be familiar with this exercise and maybe already use it for your workshops and classes. I'll see if I can share screens again and pull it up for you. And I'm just going to lead us into a couple of things for today. So Exquisite Corpse is a game. Many of you probably already played it. It goes back to Paris, to Surrealist movement, and it's played by several people. Much like we're creating a nonce poem in our other exercise. And hopefully, can you guys all see this? Can somebody give me a tag? Let me know if this is visible.
We can see this.
Okay, great. Okay. and many of you may be familiar with this already. So it can be structured so the participants agree on sentence structure beforehand, so we know we're coming up with lines. To give an example here, on the Academy of American Poets, which is great to go to for exercises and forms, as many of you know. Adjective, noun, verb, adjective, noun. I see that in their rewrite, they've slipped in some articles as well. As it says, may be added later and adjusted after the poem is written. So the idea is people write words, and what's expected of the person may be coordinated to a particular design of what's going to be the resulting piece. So if you're assigned, if you're the second participant, you'll be contributing nouns, etc. So at the end, we have this piece that's been co-written and can be co-performed, and each person can read their word, just to get people beyond that sense of being timid in the world, being shy about participating, not sure if you want to participate. It's one word to contribute, to get kicked off. And the end result read together can really open up sort of that heartbeat of workshop, or that heartbeat of time together, particularly if you're working with a group that's in trauma. Say you're in a domestic violence shelter working with people who've been trafficked, and they've been in for 3 days and straight off the street. And or cancer ward, when you're working with people who are terminally ill and have been deeply medicated and having a very difficult time with chemos and other kinds of things they're going through, and families not always available. People are going through. This type of exercise can open up some possibilities in what might happen in your workshop as you proceed. I want to go from this, just as for sake of time here, to a live cam on our campus at UCR, where this from exquisite corpse to the corpse plant, the corpse flower, which is in bloom at UCR right now. So we have a live cam because the bloom only happens for about 24 to 40 hours, and then it's done. And this is a plant, largest flower in the world. We often think of knowledge as a flower. It's been used as metaphor for many cultures, many generations. What our bloom is, what we're coming to in life, what we offer when we're fully measured in what we're trying to achieve, in any type of pattern in our life, any type of movement in our life, what we're capable of offering to others, that sort of blossoming that occurs in life. And this particular plant, the Titamarum, not only is the largest bloom, but takes for a very long time to bloom. It might not bloom for 10 years of its life. This particular one at UCR has taken 22 years for its first bloom. So it's happening now. People can go look at it now, and it smells like a rotting corpse, which is rather interesting. But its purpose is to attract pollinators that are attracted to dead animals. And it needs those pollinators to live. After this bloom collapses and the plant regenerates, it can get up to 15, 20 feet tall. It can grow an immense amount of height, and is a bit of a phoenix if you think of it that way. So there's something really intriguing about this particular plant as exercise. And in developing maybe nonce work with your participants, your clients, your students, and looking at something maybe awful in life, maybe really horrendous, that stinks, that's just no good. That's like rotting flesh. It's like something the vultures would come and clean up for you if we're lucky enough to have buzzards nearby, but can attract these beautiful pollinators that do this substantial, significant regeneration of life in the world, that offer continuity, that offers more, that brings hope, that brings new life, that regenerates. But we have this thing that's been festering in us. Maybe we were abused as children, as many of us were. A lot of people like us drawn to this kind of work went through things in our lives, and that's why we're here. We have relevance in the position of, because we've been there on some level, in some events in our own etic knowns, our own knowledge base, our own experiences. And there's things that have festered in our lives, things that may trigger us today with trauma. Something may come up, a smell of something may trigger a memory for us, just as it will with our clients, our participants, our students, if you will, that give us this sense of really deep wounding or death, this corpse sense, something that has come into its full purpose in life and is now going to leave us. The bloom will collapse, so it also sort of represents a death of something in this way. Maybe it's a death of a particular knowledge. Maybe it's the ending of a particular trauma. Maybe it's the ending of the base of that trauma being a festering known, and something then that we can collect into the deeper plant, into what will regenerate and grow and reach maybe enormous height, which is more true knowledge, right? It's that experiential knowledge that we've gained from going through these things, and make us deeper thinkers, make us, in some ways, better humans, because we can understand other people's issues and experiences and or traumas, and offer some sense of transformation or transference or transcendence to what they're going through in their own life. I'm seeing a note from someone. Let me check on a note. Okay, it's the 7-Eleven. Somebody got up. Okay, thank you for doing that. Just wanted to make sure I wasn't missing something here. So for this part of the exercise, what I'd like you to do, and I'll give you just maybe let's say 10 minutes of writing for this part of the exercise. And what I'd like you to do is consider looking at the corpse flower, the corpse plant, as something that you could create exercise from, a metaphor for trauma, a metaphor for hurdles in life, for conflicts in life, for something that offers beauty in the end through these pollinators, through regeneration of the plant, while collapsing the effect of the trauma, while allowing the trauma to be beheld, to be known, to be validated, to be experienced, instead of cheerleaders, you know, instead of having someone not pay attention to, but actually give presence to what that is, you know, to really exist in that and understand the deep implications and validate before moving into the full bloom of it, you know, how to move from that validation into understanding what that blossom can hold, that knowledge, and understanding that deeper reference of that knowledge and what it means in a lifetime as an older person to have known this, to know that human experience and what could be offered from that, the sense of the bloom, the sense of the offering of the flower, and its attraction to these pollinators who come to these dead things to regenerate life, much as vultures, buzzards, and insects that pollinate in this way. The bottleflies, for instance, and the deeply beautiful reflections and luminescence of bottleflies when you look at them and the iridescent colors that come from them. That beauty as well. And think about how it's going to be regenerated for a particular individual or group that you're working with. And just consider this as metaphor for trauma, for something that people need to have validated in order to move through so they can begin again, using the trauma as maybe a guideline for a particular piece of writing that they're going to do to help them to transcend. And beyond that, what else does it relate to? How else does it maybe hold relevance for other people that are coming in and viewing and such, and understanding this particular blossom in their own way, and how they can reflect from the piece that's being offered the results. So I'm going to give you about 10 minutes to just sort of spend some time with that and think of that as perhaps a metaphor that you could use to create an exercise for your groups. And if not this metaphor, something else that represents something that may involve death of some sort without necessarily having a full death, with having an opportunity for sort of that phoenix rise like this plant has, for regeneration, renewal, and being stronger and growing higher from the experience. So let's look at that for a moment. I'm going to give you about 10 minutes. You guys all know what you're doing, your workshop leaders. I'm going to close off my my volume here and just let you be with yourselves and think through this. If you can come up with an exercise you want to share, I'd love to see it. Okay, I'm coming back in here and want to remind you that I'm sending all of you guys my appreciation so much to all of you for doing the work that you do in the world and for being there for everyone that you're there for with your work as workshop leaders in the communities that you touch, that you embrace, that you work for, that you serve. Just some notes here before we move into our bio break and then sharing. If working with suicide, a population that has a high suicide rate, maybe even working against that happening with a particular group, doing that intervention, tribute always the longevity, possibilities in longevity, and the idea of full lifetime. Working with youth in that, maybe assign them to interview and or research the oldest living person in the communities that they come from, and imagine themselves in that place as being that person for people who come after, using these experiences that they've lived through to help other people transform and transcend as well. While de-escalating, always try to find a deeper resonance of yourself beyond you in the physical form, whether you're reaching above, outside, beyond, or below, to give yourself a place to come from that has wider range, so that you can also keep yourself in a place that you're giving more deeply from. And I'd say this is important any time in life when you're sitting and working with anyone, not just for de-escalation, but just for allowing yourself to be more present in the world, to take in more than what's happening in your mind's eye. Embrace the full bloom or the blossom of a trauma as a validation of that trauma, of that challenge, of that conflict in life, and allow it to fully bloom and to be recognized as a blossom, so that when it recedes, it's left something, there's an impression there that we can take in from and learn from and grow from. And whatever it's attracted as pollinators, we can regenerate from and rebuild and grow higher into new depths and new understandings, and have more to give from as well. Always humanize, always dignify, always allow that to come into place, and allow yourself as well to take time off and to do things that are relevant to you, so you have that deeper well to give from. I'm open to conversations beyond workshop, so I will put in a moment my email that you can reach me, and hopefully it's okay if I ask you during the sharing time. I know you have a lot to share from earlier work with Alicia's examples, etc., that were given, and maybe something from this session as well, in the creative part of the session with the nods. But this is also a creative part of the session, creating ideas of what can happen in a workshop, that curriculum for workshop, that exercise that one will present is a creative act. It offers you more nonce work to do, but it offers everyone else the ability to move into that creative moment with you that you're there working for. I'm also a big advocate of rolling or walking poems, allowing ourselves either vicariously to move through space if we're not able to physically move through space, so that we're visiting other places, other environments, whether they're familiar to us or not, and or walking poems if we're able to go out and be in environment, even if it's in a hallway, just to take in a different aesthetic for the moment, to move back to a place to work from, so vicariously or physically, depending on ability there. If you have any questions for me, feel free to throw them in the chat. I'm here for you. And thank you for being here with us today, and thank you for doing what you do in the world. It's an honor and privilege to spend this time with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Allison. Okay, we have our 5-minute break. We'll see you back here at 1:30.